Hello, everybody. I'm Steven from Velhard TV, and today I'll be reviewing The Witches 2020 on HBO Max. This movie is basically a remake from the 1990 movie Witches. This movie is basically about witches all over the world. They don't like children. Children smell bad to them. So the Grand High Witch comes up with a plan to get rid of all the children in the entire world. She creates a formula that will, change the kids, and they'll get rid of them permanently. The 1990 movie was absolutely great. I grew up with that one, and I loved it. This one, the remake is not as good as I was hoping it would be. I believe this is more true to the book versus the 1990 version, but there's quite a few things I didn't like about the movie, but some of the stuff I did like about the movie was Octavia Spencer. She is amazing in this movie. She, in my opinion, really carries the entire movie. She is the grandmother of the unnamed hero in the grandson in the movie. And she just basically is very believable for a grandmother. She and her grandson experience a loss of his parents, which his mother was her daughter. So they have to both go through the grieving process and experience that loss. And the grandmother isn't really sympathetic about it. She's like, listen, everybody deals with loss in their own way, but we need to get back to being happy. So she slowly breaks out different songs to help her grandson feel good, and get him to laugh and smile more, and get him over that hump where he's just sitting around not wanting to do anything because he lost his parents. So she's like, listen, we all got to deal with this. I lost my daughter, who was your mother. So but we got to keep going on, and we got to keep living for them. So I thought that whole thing was great. When when we get to the hotel, she's fantastic in that with trying to talk to Bruno's parents in that. But some of the stuff I really didn't like was the CGI looked like it was 10 years old or more. It really didn't look that good. It looked off, especially when we see the mice in the movie. They just didn't really look right. The snakes as well, I thought were could have been a little bit better. The mouths, when they go elongated and they start talking, like witches, that wasn't too bad, but the CGI mostly wasn't very good in this movie. Compared to the 1990 version, where you had the stop motion puppets and the makeup and effects for especially the Grand High Witch, dude, those hold up even today. Those were absolutely amazing looking. I was scared of the Grand High Witch in the 1990 version. That was just dude, those effects were fantastic. And you didn't need narration to figure out who the Grand High Witch was, and who what was going on, who were witches, who weren't. When we see the grandmother's backstory, we touch on that a little bit. We find out that she had met the Grand High Witch before, and those effects when her friend goes missing, again, wasn't very good CGI. In the original, when we see the grandmother's friend go missing, she sees her in a painting, and the little girl in the painting kept moving to the woods, and then she'd be feeding the ducks another day, and the girl in the painting kept getting older and older. And to me, that was very, very creepy. I was like, holy cow, I would never want to have that happen to me. Like, oh, I hope I don't meet any witches when I was that young. And, you know, that was amazing. Those effects were great. And Angelica Houston played the Grand High Witch in the original. And when she walked into the hotel, you knew exactly who she was. Her presence and what she brought to the character was absolutely phenomenal. Her accent was great as well. I mean, you could understand her. You can understand what she was saying, even as the Grand High Witch. Anne Hathaway is a very good actress, but in this, her accent wasn't very believable. It was over the top a lot, and when she was talking as a witch, when her mouth went elongated and things like that, you could barely understand her. At one point, she does drop her entire accent, and you can hear her screaming at the witches to basically shut up. But you can hear it in her normal voice, not her, not the accent of the witches. So I thought that was kind of a little disappointing. But I mean, her presence in some scenes was there, some scenes it wasn't. But you can tell she was having fun, which was really kind of cool about the whole movie. Is everybody was having fun playing their parts. It just really didn't come off as that believable to me. It was so over the top most of the time that it kind of came out cartoonish. But the fact that, when we get to see the main boy get turned into a mouse, his character becomes completely different. He's more confident. He's like, I can do this. I'm going to go on this adventure and we're going to stop these witches. And like all of his dialogue changes too. So that I was like, I was hoping we could have been a little more consistent with that for, the narration's sake. And plus, we had Chris Rock popping in and out throughout the movie doing narration about stuff that we kind of already knew. So that didn't, it wasn't too bad, but it didn't really work for me, especially growing up with the 1990 version of the Witches, which I thought was a lot better. Overall, though, I would still give this movie about a 5. It's something that you can put on for your kids and not have to worry about them really getting overly scared over, versus like the 1990 Witches when you saw the Grand High Witch take off her face and it just, her nose and everything came right out and she just looked so disgusting. Yeah, so this movie you could definitely watch with, your kids for about an hour and a half. It would entertain them. But if you grew up with the original movie, you may as well skip this one. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, especially for a remake, and Del Toro's name's on it. I was kind of like a little disappointed in the movie because, especially seeing his name, and I was like, oh, this is probably going to be a good remake. But overall, it wasn't like a terrible movie, but it wasn't a great movie either. Again, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. If you guys like what I do, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button. I will be doing more content each week. Everybody, take care for now. Bye.